Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you've taken a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to everything crypto and DeFi. Um, as you know, um, the market has been range bound. There's chaos in the air. What is going on? Well, look, last night or yesterday afternoon, we were going to run a stream, and it didn't work. And Bitcoin was at $107,000. Actually, I think it hit 108 something. It amazes me that Bitcoin was able to show this much resilience when we have all this conflict in the Middle East. Trump leaves the G7 conference. They're rushing back to Washington, D.C. We heard that it sounded like Iran was going to have a peace deal, but was it for real? It doesn't seem like it. Then, when I wake up this morning, Bitcoin has dumped all the way down to 103. I've taken a long out on the market now. It's crazy. So today, we're going to start looking at what has happened to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies with all of this back and forth conflict in the Middle East. And for those of you all who are unable to be on my live stream, yesterday when my daughter was also online and screwed most of it up, we just don't have enough bandwidth for both of us to be doing this at the same time. But I want to, 2 days late, of course, wish happy Father's Day to all the amazing dads out there, the crypto dads, the DeFi enthusiasts, the moms who are dads, although I know there's not very many women watching this channel. It's mostly men, but it tends to be that in the crypto space. Now, today, we're going to be celebrating throughout the stream the most important role in life, which is being a father. But we're also going to dive into some of the latest Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sway, and AERO news today. So whether you're just starting your crypto journey or, honestly, you are a seasoned DeFi pro like me, this live stream is going to be packed with valuable insights, safety tips for the crypto space, and strategies to help you grow and protect your portfolio in 2025's fast-moving market. So please join our growing Web3 community of not just dads, but crypto investors and traders as we share honest analysis. I can share exclusive DeFi yield opportunities, and we can find ways to navigate today's volatile markets with confidence together. So let's connect, let's learn, let's celebrate together, because building wealth for your children or just for your family and yourself, the up and coming generations, that starts here. So before we begin, remember, don't forget to like and subscribe, ping that notification bell. And you know what? Comment your biggest Father's Day crypto goals below. Let's support each other on this awesome journey in the crypto space. So, I wanted to start today, before we get into our market overview, taking a look at crypto bubbles. So, crypto bubbles is a, hold on one second, this is not set, right? All right. Crypto bubbles is no different than going to coin market cap or anything else of that nature. You are looking right now at the week on crypto bubbles, and you notice there's only one token in the lead. And guess what that is? That's right. AERO Finance sitting at 71 cents. Now, it has taken almost a 20-25% dump today. As you can see, the animals behind me, they're not too happy about it. See, there we go. Now, taking a look, you can see that most of our favorite altcoins looking terrible on the week, right? Let's check them out on the day. We got Bitcoin down 3.7%. Say and TIA down around 10%. Core, a Bitcoin layer 2 protocol, 8%. Akash, -12. Virtual, -16. Aerodrome, -15. It was over -20 last time I looked. PIF, -11. SNEC, -11. AIXBT, the AI agent on virtuals, around 13% negative. Nothing today is in the positive, pretty much. Now, let's go to quickly the top 100, and you will see it looks about the same. Now, excuse me. Now, looking at the top 100, I see one coin that's green. I don't even know what it is. Oh, Pulse Chain, whatever. Sorry, any Pulse Chain fans out there. I know there are people invested in it, I'm sure. Anyway, market is red today. Yesterday, it was green as can be. That's why on those heavy green days, we need to take profits. Now, let's take a quick look at why the market is so volatile. So what has been happening, right, is Middle East conflict. Possible war between Israel and Iran. This is a big deal. This doesn't just affect Bitcoin. It affects the stock market. It affects commodities. It affects gold. And whenever there is uncertainty or fear within the geopolitical sphere, like what happened yesterday when Trump left the G7 summit, markets usually react very negatively to the downside. But even with war and conflicts, asset prices will increase over the long term. So yes, there may be bearish sentiment in the short term, but in the long term, Bitcoin is still going to increase in price, just like your house is still going to increase in price. Now, analysts like Andre, who is the head of research at the Bitwise EPT platform, believes that Bitcoin price is stabilizing. And he says that they're arguing Bitcoin's price can suffer in the days following an outbreak of a conflict, but the volatility in BTC's price is overall on a downtrend and obviously is still seen as a risky asset. It's very likely to be sold very, very quickly when a war breaks out, because remember, Bitcoin is and the cryptocurrency markets are probably some of the most volatile assets in the investment space. And what's crazy is Bitcoin tends to work as a hedge during war after the initial reaction. That tells me time to buy the dip, Kevin. And I bought a little bit of the dip, mostly just Ethereum at this point. I'm starting to dollar cost average into Tau. I'm also going to probably sell out of some positions. We've been looking at Say and a few other protocols, but I'm not going to sell them now when the market took such a dump today. But if you take a look at this chart will show you geopolitical conflicts and then the performance of Bitcoin 1, 5, 10, 20, 50 days, right? So it takes less than 50 days for Bitcoin, when a war has happened, to end up back at break even 100%, right? And if you go back, the embassy Brahmin, Israel and Iran, that was last year. We lost around 5%, 2%, 9%, and then back to 10% by 50 days. So yes, the first 20 days we were in a downtrend. But look at this, the Israel-Gaza war, not at all. Barely a dump, and then we just skyrocketed after that. Russian invasion, Ukraine, same thing. We skyrocketed after that. It was like people got scared of the banks, put their money into Bitcoin. That's crazy to think about. And then you can go down here, the Minar Civil War, nothing. This little bitty war here from 2020, nothing. This one a little bit when Russia annexed Crimea. I remember when that happened. Now, this is not a geopolitical channel. I just want to make you aware wars always happen. Now, wars are bad. I know there's people out there suffering. I am a pacifist. I don't want anyone to suffer and die for politics or for religion. But we're not here to talk about politics and religion. We are here to talk about crypto and DeFi investing. So I just want you all out there who are worried about the markets. You don't need to worry as much as you think. If there's little heavy dips, dollar cost average into your high conviction plays. Of course, these are just the way I'm playing things. None of this is financial advice. If you read the disclaimer at the beginning of the video, it tells you that. Cryptocurrencies are very volatile and you can lose all your money. Now, next, I wanted to start taking a look at just my Twitter feed. So if you want to really stay on top of what we talk about on the channel before it's on the channel, just follow me on X or check us out on dadsdefispace.org. It is an excellent site to educate yourself for free in crypto and DeFi. And if you really want to up your DeFi game, check out Crypto Labs Research Underdog Investment Group. 20% off your first month. Tell them that Dad's DeFi Space sent you, and that should be $50 USDT deposited for you to begin your DeFi investing journey. Now, taking a look at some of the stuff that I would like to go over first and foremost, because this happened after our Mulligan stream yesterday. Pump.fund, their X account was suspended. And it was suspended due to court orders. Now, everyone thought, like, the rug pull of Pump.fund is over. This is the Solana meme coin casino, and love them or hate them, it brought volume, which was great for us liquidity providers. I didn't trade many tokens on Pump.fund, maybe a few to play with. It is straight up gambling, and it is the cards are stacked against you, so you better be willing to get into the trenches and know what you are doing. But really, why I was suspended, they believe, has to do with violations of Twitter's API policies. And anyway, I just wanted to Pump.fund got in trouble by Elon Musk. You heard it here. Anyway, what I want to do now, if you can look here, you can see there's the mess ups. We're going to talk about TRON in a little bit, and we're going to talk about the AERO token, one of my faves. Again, happy Father's Day to all the real dads out there. Cheers to you. The world needs good, strong dads to teach them right in all aspects, right? Now, over the last week, we also had a lot of other things going on in the markets. SEC is withdrawing a lot of their court cases. I know a lot of people point out, hey, Eric Trump, he's involved with the TRON thing. I just, all the court cases are getting turned over. I mean, I don't like the fact that I don't want to get into politics, but I don't know if how the Trump family is playing the crypto space makes us look good, like makes them look good. I don't know. I just don't feel it is part of the original ethos of this space. Anyway, doesn't mean we can't make some money in the meantime, right? So at this point in time, I would not sell my kidneys for Bitcoin, but you need to be aware that it's going to be volatile until this Middle East situation is at least somewhat resolved. GameStop, a lot of other companies are buying Bitcoin. Just please understand Bitcoin is still a risk asset, right? Gold, that is a hedge. And that is why gold has been going up so much. People just don't know with the tariffs, with, with the tariffs, with the conflict in the Middle East. We just don't know what's happening next. So let's move on. I want to do a market update before we actually get into talking about Bitcoin, price levels, and the works today. Okay. And we're going to take a look at coin market cap. Now, if you stay with the stream for the duration of the stream, we're eventually going to get into a discussion of market top indicators and DeFi safety tips, along with looking at some of my lending and DeFi positions, which we always like to do at the end of the stream. Now, Bitcoin is back above 104K. Excuse me. Bitcoin is negative 3.6% on the day. Ethereum, negative 6%. BNB, negative 1.9, almost 2%. Solana is down almost 7%. XRP, almost 7%. Just like yesterday, we're still neutral as far as fear and greed, right in the middle. Do keep an eye on that. When we are getting or staying in the extreme greed area, it is probably getting to be time to start dollar cost averaging out of the market or laddering out of your positions. Altcoin season index is sitting at 20. And the market cap is on an uptrend, but initial downtrend over the last week or so. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is sitting right at 64% right now. As you can see, Bitcoin dominance has been on an absolute tear. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart in just a minute. And crypto ETFs have had a ton of influence. Now, we have been slowly dollar cost averaging a little bit into the Ethereum ETF, Fidelities, and IBIT, but this is in my retirement account. I actually, more of our net worth is actually within Bitcoin and our houses. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about now and at this part of the stream is we're going to take a look at the charts before I actually get into market cycle top indicators. And you know what? Let's take a quick look at the altcoin season index before we move into the next part of the stream. So, as I was saying, altcoin season index is sitting at about 19. It has been on a downtrend since, the beginning of the year. And if you look at the top coins over the last 90 days, it's crazy. You have the Syrup token, Maple Finance, up 300%. Everything else is meme coin. At least the next two. You got Fart Coin at number 2, 218% over the last 90 days. SPX, 211% over the last 90 days. And then the next ones you're going to see are ones you've heard about on the channel before. Hyper Network, Virtual Protocol, the AI agent system, 146, 162 respectively. Pendle Finance, 58%. We got WIF, 54%. Another meme coin on Solana. Aave, 50%. I mean, on and on and on. Bitcoin is about 22. But you notice something? There's a lot more tokens that are down, or altcoin tokens that are down than are up. Anything below Bitcoin on this list, if you hold any of those, and I hold some of them, Ethereum, Sway, Solana, Ray, Crow, Uni, BNB. Now we're getting into like the negative ones, right? You can see, right? Every one of those tokens, you would have been better off just being in Bitcoin, right? So enough about that. Let's go on and take a look at the charts. Obviously, we're going to start Big Daddy B, and we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin right now is sitting at 104, 203, and which honestly doesn't look that bad, right? All right, so before we actually get in the charts, let's put on some music. Uh-oh, something's wrong with my music. Oh my goodness, why? I hope that's right. All right, we got our tunes. Let's get back to work. Taking a look at the charts. Charts. All right. So right now you are looking at Bitcoin, right? I've marked in the chart what I'm paying attention to, and that is this hot area right here that is sitting right at about 102.4, 102.5. That right now is my line in the sand. If you look, we are still within that range right here. So I feel comfortable. If I was in a Bitcoin USDC pair, I would probably do my liquidity between 102.5, 1012, in my humble opinion. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin had been rebounding up until today's dump, but it's facing key resistance levels. That resistance obviously is up here at 112, the all-time high. And that resistance remains critical. Once we get past this 1012, or really, I just want us to get above here around 107, 108 and get support, I will feel much more comfortable. Now, the range that I'm looking at right now is 102.5 to 106.5 marked on the chart between the red line and the green line. So what has been going on with Bitcoin over this last little bit? As we were talking earlier, Trump left the G7 conference yesterday, and there's possible escalation in Iran. Word came out yesterday. We talked about it during the stream that did not work, that there was word that Iran was asking for a peace agreement, but Trump leaving, going back to the Situation Room, did not sound that way anymore. After this, that's when the dump began. So the market, honestly, all in the same, is reacting very positively to all these shifting headlines. Now, the dollar is down around 98.8. SPX is slightly down today. Gold is about the same. Oil is heavy up, and the VIX is sitting at about 13%, the volatility index. But what does this mean for us? I mean, yes, Bitcoin could take a dump. I mean, you can see my levels right here on my chart. We're looking at, let's see, 96.2, 90.2, right at 100,000, obviously a psychological level, but I'm paying a lot more attention to 102.5, and then obviously 112. Now, if we get below, let's see, $94,000, we may revisit even lower. It's hard to say, right? Anyway, what I would like to do next is take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, Bitcoin dominance has been, as we've talked about, an absolute tear, an absolute uptrend over the last few days. Craziness. We are back above our trend zone. So we do dump eventually, but we haven't yet. I mean, we could get all the way up to the top of the yellow line. That's just under 66%. Never know, right? And this Bitcoin dominance is probably one of your most important charts to keep an eye on as far as knowing when to rotate more into altcoins. And we'll talk about that in a minute when we start looking at market cycle top indicators. What's really cool though is being this high up on the on BT dominance, we are due for a possible correction, hopefully. Now, if we zoom out, what would Bitcoin dominance look during altcoin season? It is going to look kind of like this. That right here, from here to here, and I can show you the measurements from the top to the bottom. I mean, we're looking at about a 45% drop. The low being around 39%, the high being 73%. So as you can see, we have a long way to drop down. And this is part of the reason why I'm starting to get more and more bullish on ETH. I know I've been talking about it through the last few months. If you listen to that, you're probably feeling the same pain that I'm in right now, a little bit with Ethereum, although we did accumulate a lot at the bottom of the bear. Anyway, let's take a look at the Ethereum chart. So Ethereum has actually looked kind of strong lately. Okay. If you take a look, and this is the weekly chart. I got to zoom out on this sucker. There we go. All right. So if you take a look at the Ethereum chart, you can see that we are right into our support resistance of 2,500. That's this blue line on the chart. A lot of these, you can see, well, I mean, we could drop as low as 2,100. My next one line in the sand is 1,500. I hope we don't go lower than this. Then I would be starting to get a little worried. But as long as we're in this 2,000 range, like I'm going to do some accumulating around if we get down to 2,100 again, and anything below that's like gravy for me. Again, not financial advice, just how I'm seeing this, but it gives me ideas of how I want to set liquidity positions, et cetera, et cetera. Now, one of the most important charts that you need to keep an eye on, just to make sure, like, hey, are we getting close to altcoin season? And I talk about this almost every stream because that's how important I believe it to be, is we look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, right? So Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Whoops. I didn't need that. I hope. If you look at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, it is looking nasty and has really for a few years, right? I mean, Ethereum hit this low point of 101.6 or something. It hasn't hit since, September 2019, which is absolutely crazy. If you take a look at recent price action on Ethereum, though, we are back up into the bull market support band right here, trying to regain support. It's crazy. And by looking at that, what you really need to know is as long as we can stay above this 0.02 level, I'm going to remain bullish on ETH, but right below here, and that's like this pink line right here, purple line, we may revisit lower numbers. But when this chart starts to do this, right? When the Ethereum Bitcoin chart starts doing this number from like here to here, that's awesome, right? That is some serious gains in the market. So what I would like to do now, before we talk about altcoin market cycle indicators and also DeFi safety features, I would love to take a look at some of the crazy market events that have been going on. Hold on one second. Specifically, I would like to take a look at a lot of the stuff that's been going on that I see as bullish. So Trump Media has filed to launch a Truth Social Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. We have spoken about this before. President Trump wants to launch a joint Bitcoin Ethereum ETF following a solo ETF filing. They're working with Yorkville, American Digital, and Crypto.com. And they recently raised $2.4 billion to establish a Bitcoin treasury. That is bullish, at least for accumulation. I know it doesn't show in the price charts, but it will begin to happen. Don't get left behind. Next, I want to get into more of a discussion about stable coins. So you know that we're bullish not just on stable coins, but stablecoin change. I plan on trying to release a little bit more content in the near future on ways you can earn yield with your stables. Please check out our previous videos on stablecoin chains, stablecoin yields. I'll try to leave those in the description here in a little bit. So Walmart and Amazon are planning on launching stablecoins once the Genius Act passes. Amazon, Walmart have been talking about this for years, but we have not had a supportive administration. Stablecoins are the rails of crypto. I know people don't like talking about them, but I mean, Bitcoin would not achieve the market cap it has without stablecoins. And that brings us to our second piece of news. Justin Sun's TRON blockchain, which is super huge over in Asia, is planning to go public, right? TRON reportedly plans to go public through a reverse merger with SRM Entertainment. This is actually Eric Trump one of the president's sons, is supposed to have a role with this new firm. Now, go figure. Now, these developments are in stark contrast with TRON's history with this presidential administration, the former, presidential administration. There were cases against him by Gary Gensler and the SEC. And remember, this guy that a lot of people don't like, Justin Sun, he had a dinner with Trump. Eric's going to be part of this company, right? But that doesn't mean that maybe it's just something to look into. I don't know much about TRON, but I may start looking into it just for this reason. They have some hype behind it. All right. Next, Coinbase. Now, we've been upset with Coinbase because they throw our data around like, I don't know, beads at Mardi Gras. Coinbase is actually now seeking presidential approval for tokenized equities. You'll be able to trade stocks, crypto, derivatives, all in the same place. Now, you can already do this on Kraken. Right? Yeah, on Kraken. So it's not that big of news. But if it's approved, Coinbase will start competing against other stock trading platforms, which I think is crazy. If I can buy Tesla or some Palantir with Coinbase. And I do have some Tesla and Palantir, by the way. Palantir has been my best investment, pretty much. Over 1,000% gains on that one. And I've had a couple memes like that. That has been my best stock investment by far. And it definitely didn't always look that way. So very much they are competing with Kraken, who's already started tokenized stocks and treasuries on their platform. Boom. So now I would like to talk a little bit about some altcoin news, specifically AERO token. Now, if we break down Coinbase's latest DEX move, AERO Finance surged close to 40 some odd % the other day because they're integrating base chain DEX services into their app. So AERO is going to be integrated into Coinbase app. So despite all this short-term volatility, AERO it's the strongest DEX on Base by far, strongest total value lock. That's part of the reason we like farming on it. This could indicate long-term potential. It almost makes me think with AERO maybe I want to consider locking some AERO. I haven't yet. Maybe we'll make a video on that in the future. But AERO's dominant position on Base, AERO could pump because of this. And this one makes me happy, right? So when this happened, AERO jumped 35%. We did take some profits, probably $300-$400 worth at least of profit, and downsized our position a little bit, which is great because it dropped, 20% today. We may pick a little bit more up, but for the most part, I'll probably just farm it. But I would like to take a look at the AERO chart. And you can see what happens when a coin pops on news like this, which if you all have been looking at the chart, you've probably already seen this. So there's our pop right there. Right. I want to go on the daily so you can see this a little better, right? So less than, 2.5 weeks ago? Less than 2.5 weeks ago, AERO was sitting at, 55 cents? Hold on. AERO was sitting at 55 cents. Oops. Let me do it one more time. I keep hitting my keyboard. AERO is sitting at 55 cents, and what is it now? Or it was 87 cents. It's retraced back down to 76 cents. But what's crazy, if you look at this, 14 days, 14 bars. 85%. That's absolutely crazy. This is one of the reasons we like AERO. It gives you great times to buy, great times to sell. And look at this. If you look at when did it bounce, it literally bounced right here on the bull market support band. A lot of these indicators, they don't predict the future, but they can give you ideas and probabilities. And that's what this game is about, that and risk management, of course. All right, next, I want to take a look and talk a little bit more about ETFs. Now, there has been a kind of bullish narrative about Solana, because Solana, or a lot of people know that Solana is about to bring ETFs back, or excuse me, file for Solana ETFs, right? So CoinShares has filed for a Solana ETF, VanEck has filed for a Solana ETF, and Fidelity has filed for a Solana ETF. I'll probably be picking up some of that in my retirement account. Not completely, obviously. I keep stocks and golden notes in there too. This is just the 8th entity to want to start a Solana ETF. I find this bullish on Solana. So if you really want to get these news and market updates earlier, consider joining us on X at CryptoZone 1013. Add me on Telegram at DeFi 1013. And I would like if you would consider, right, joining Dad's DeFi space. This is our private group, which I'm considering moving to Telegram. I'm going to be talking about that over the next month or so. I give video updates, level updates, liquidity management updates, portfolio updates, new articles, some articles only available for people within the group. I'm always letting people know what positions I'm looking at, sometimes whether I'm shorting, whether I'm longing, what DeFi positions I'm looking into or already in, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, and also, if you don't want to join, you can still come and check out our articles for free. We have articles on stable coins, DeFi portfolio review, market updates, crystal vaults, which we're going to look at towards the end of the video today. Safe stablecoin yields, my weekly yield hunter articles, where I highlight different liquidity positions and lending positions sometimes. Those you have to join the free private group to access those. Same thing with our free DeFi course. If you are interested in that, you click on education, it will take you straight to where it is, follow the directions. But we'd love to see you in there. And yeah, enough of that. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about what should we do to prep for the bull market cycle top. You can find 2 sites, Crypto Market Cap, which I use all the time on my channel, and CoinGlass. I like the CoinGlass one better, but you can access a very similar thing on CoinMarketCap. It's right here, market cycle top indicators. Okay. It gives 30 different indicators, how close they are to hitting, what the current change is, and then whether they've been triggered. And then it keeps a hit score up at the top of whether you should buy or sell. Now, I do not base my buying and selling on this, but it's a great resource, especially the CoinGlass one. These are in my description of every video. Check out the links. Support the channel. Check out some of our affiliates too, of course. It's It's just so detailed. The Bitcoin index, the pi cycle top, the plural multiple. These are all ones we've talked about in the class, but indicators like the pi cycle top, the plural multiple, the rainbow price chart, ETF outflows, the MVRVZ score, the Bitcoin bubble index, 2-year moving average multiplier. See which other ones here. The HODL ratio, the Bitcoin bull run index, the terminal price, the golden ratio multiplier. All these are great indicators that can help point that whether the market is extremely overheated or extremely bearish, which are going to be your best times to sell and your best times to buy. So please start using this kind of thing. As you can see, we are at a 100% hold. Don't sell anything right now. Again, not financial advice, but as more of these indicators start to hit, I will start to sell out of many of my positions. But one of the most important things, if you're going to become a crypto and DeFi investor, is to always have a plan. And using resources like CoinGlass's bull market peak indicators can help you do that. They can make it easy because you can just go here, flip real quick, and see what it's all X's. Nothing's hidden. I'm not selling right now. It's that simple. So I hope that knowledge will help you in your DeFi investing journey. And we're gonna move on to our next few things, right? Those of you all who are on the stream, we're gonna move into our DeFi safety section of the stream. Now, we have a full DeFi masterclass available if you join for free and check out our free crypto and DeFi course for beginners. If you want an even more detailed course, not just getting any free course that you can get your hands onto in this space, you can check out the free course from Crypto Labs Research also, or consider joining their UIV investing group. But I wanted to have a quick talk about safety in DeFi and correlative pairs. I thought this would be a great lesson for us to talk about the crypto and DeFi safety within these markets. Okay. These graphics are trying to show you the difference between centralized and decentralized, right? Decentralized adds more value to a network. There is no one point of failure. There is no one point of centralized control. One thing that I want you to be aware of is this on the right is what we want in this space, right? So to get involved in decentralized finance, you have to know your DeFi and crypto security measures. And these are important for crypto investors. They're important for DeFi investors. They're important for NFT investors. If you are involved in the crypto and DeFi space, this is for you. But first and foremost, you need to assess the risk of the platforms you're using, right? Did it have a smart contract audit, platform security, the protocol sustainability? It's good to see audits that were performed by a non-biased outside source. Implement strong security practices, right? Keep most of your wealth. More than half of mine is in cold storage. Just is. The part that's not in cold storage, I'm running DeFi. A lot of those I even have tied either to a Tangent or a Ledger, right? Wallets you see on my channel, those are my wallets, but they are not all of my wallets, obviously. Some of them I don't want everyone to know about, and neither should you, right? So be cautious of phishing attacks and scams. You see them in my comments. Occasionally you might see one get through on my webpage. You see them all over YouTube, all over X, these bots, right? These bots and scams will even target you, yield farmers and liquidity providers trying to push you into positions that are scams, right? Watch out for email, Telegram, and X scams. If it sounds too good to be true, guess what? Probably is. And never ever invest more than you can afford to lose. You should keep your bull run bag, your assets on hardware storage wallet, multi-sig, I don't know, put it on a metal plate, buried in the ground, bank vault, but use at least 2 or 3 different places, right? You want to make sure that you don't put it all in one spot. Putting it into a single point of failure. Now, you know what? Hold on 1 second, guys, and we'll go right back to this. It looks like Bitcoin has gone back above 105. Let's see what they're doing on the hour chart. 3 green candles, each one bigger. That's looking pretty bullish to me. I'm glad I'm running along right now. Might check that in a minute. We'll see. Bitcoin pumped up to about 105 too. That means the other one should start following, hopefully, because some of these coins were bleeding terribly this morning. But trust me, the volatility is not over. Not until this Middle East thing is blown over a little bit more. So getting back to our DeFi safety tips, I'd like to take a look at part 2. And this is correlation between assets. Okay. Can't even see all my notes. Let me try to fix this. That's a little better, I guess. All right. Oh, excuse me. There we go. All right. So, correlation between assets. If you're going to provide liquidity, you got to understand correlation. That is when you're working with pairs or 2 different assets, which pairs are, how do the pairs move in relationship with each other? The degree which the assets move in tandem, that's the correlation. And you want that to be as close to 1 as possible, right? Positive correlation means the assets are moving in the same direction, and negative correlation are showing that the assets are moving in opposite directions, right? So negative correlation would be like BTC, and stable coins, right? Because the stable coin stays $1, BTC is a volatile asset. You will suffer more in permanent loss in a pool like that. So you want highly correlated assets. That would be like Bitcoin Ethereum, Bitcoin Solana, Ethereum Link. These are some examples of assets that are highly correlated. But if the assets aren't completely correlated, you are going to have some impermanent loss, either on the upside or the downside. So always take that in consideration. So I'm not just cash flowing positions, I'm trying to create more assets, right? I do not sell much of my DeFi liquidity positions unless I'm going into stables, collecting dry powder, waiting for a dip. Okay. So the importance means you need correlated assets so you can get a little bit more price appreciation with your cash flow. Diversifying with low or negatively correlated assets can also help to reduce that risk, but I prefer to have them just correlated. If you want to know how to research correlated assets, what you would do is you would go to DeFi Llama. Let's go here. And then once you get to DeFi Llama, scroll down to the bottom and you'll see a section that says, hold on, we gotta go back to the DeFi section. There it is. And down at the very bottom of tools, you're going to see correlation right here. This is the correlation matrix. I want to take a couple of these off, and we'll add Solana and AERO. I wish we could add one more, but this is good. So this correlation coefficient, I'm going to zoom in so you can all see this much, much better. You can see the correlated pairs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Ethereum, SOL, AERO, and USDT, SOL, Bitcoin, SOL, ETH, SOL, blah, 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 and AERO with everything else. You want this number to be as close to 1 as possible. So like right here, Bitcoin and AERO aren't very correlated at all in the year or the month, and they're negatively correlated on 7 days. So I don't see this as a very good pair to look into. If I take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, their correlation is 0.88. That is spectacular. That's awesome. I'll go for that. If you look at Bitcoin, USDT, very little. 0.29, 0.08 for ETH, USDT. All of these are low because USDT does not move with the other asset. And then, as with AERO, you can see that it's negatively correlated. Now, which one is least? Probably on the 7-day, Bitcoin and AERO. On the monthly, it would be ETH and AERO, and on the yearly, it would be ETH or SOL and AERO. So ETH, AERO, highly correlated. Bitcoin, ETH, highly correlated. Solana, Ethereum, 0.7. That's pretty correlated. You want to find numbers above 0.6. I actually prefer above 0.7 or 0.8 even better. But that just gives you an idea of a tool that you can use for free on DeFi Llama to look up the correlation of different assets, which is imperative to understand if you are going to yield farm or provide liquidity as a service. Now, we're at the part where we are going to take a look at our crystal vaults. Now, these are DeFi vaults that Dad's DeFi Space is managing. These are my own positions, but you can also add your own capital into these positions. These are self-managed by myself. And we're going to look at some of the details in just a minute. But if you choose to do something like this, again, none of this is financial advice because this is early experimental DeFi. You can lose everything. Only put in small amounts of money. I mean, each of these positions for me is going to be no more than $1,000 at most. Right now, they're sitting at around 500. I have 2 separate vaults we're going to look at. But do not ever directly transfer tokens directly into vaults. Okay, again, never transfer tokens into vaults. Crystal vaults only recognize deposits made through the deposit feature. So direct transfers to vault addresses will not be tracked, makes the fund unwithdrawable and potentially stuck. So if the Crystal team, they can't touch those funds the way these vaults are set up. So the vaults are deliberately designed with strict safety measures. Always use the in-app deposit button. Okay, if you made a direct transfer into any of my vaults or any other crystal vaults, please contact their Discord immediately. Okay, public service announcement here. What I want to look at though, next are my actual crystal vaults. Now, Crystal Finance, the automated liquidity management system, you know how bullish we are on this one. Crystal Finance has many different DeFi vaults that we can utilize. Some of them are owned by Crystal. They actually are performing quite well. And then there's some private owners and group owners that are managing vaults. And it's kind of a competition. Now, mine are young, not that old. We're going to watch these over the next few months. I did snuggle rebalance one of the positions today, although we may be looking to exit out. Right now, we're going to take a look at both of Dad's DeFi space vaults. So if you go into the vault function on Crystal Finance, and you can see the performance of my vault, what it's earning right here, right? Daily. All right. So right now, my two vaults have around $1,000 in them. First, I'd like to take a look at my Dad's DeFi Safe wrapped ETH growth printer. The average APY right now is about 91.56%. Yes, they are pretty aggressive ranges. The 24-hour performance is up 0.38%. The 7-day performance is up 2.58%. And our average APR is 84.36%. So we're sitting just slightly above even on the 7 days. Now, these vaults are less than a month old, so we're going to run them, see how they do. We're going to take a look at the Dad's DeFi Space Wrapped ETH vault and take a look at the assets. As you can see, the APY has been on a downtrend. We're going to keep an eye on that, but the market's been weirdly volatile. And I went out of range yesterday. This shows the total value locked, but all the total value locked is $515 is mine. Now, when you deposit into a vault, your money would be mixed with mine. You earn your percentage of the yield. I earn my percentage of the yield, and you can withdraw at any time. What's interesting is, and I still have some capital to add. I'm just not adding it yet. Down here, you can see what's within the vault. Wrapped ETH, virtual wrapped ETH on Uniswap position, a wrapped ETH Coinbase Bitcoin position that's on PancakeSwap, and then a wrapped ETH USDC position on PancakeSwap. Now, what's interesting about this vault, and we'll take a look at our actual assets here. You can see that they all have narrow ranges. This one is about virtual wrapped ETH is actually, it's more of a moderate narrow range. Maybe I go in between. Yeah, we're looking at about 27% interest. My profit and loss on that pool is about -$9 right now, but the market is down since we have entered. This wrapped ETH USDC one's earning about, oh, by the way, the virtual wrapped ETH position is earning bank at 196%. That's been a very active pool. The wrapped ETH USDC position around 60%. That's fluctuated anywhere from 50 to 150% over the last 6 days. This position has averaged between 30 and 60% over the last 6 days, and that's going to be kind of our core position in this portfolio. I would like to get this up to 500, this one up to probably 300, and then the other $200 in this virtual position. Right now, as you can see, we have not built up to that point yet. The profit loss on this pool is -$26. That's okay. I'm good with that right now because it is still earning me fees, but we will keep our eyes on this over the next little bit. And as you can see, the daily yield on this $500 is about 57 cents, and we'll see what it looks like once we get up to $1,000. Now, next, I want to take a look at my USDC vault. Now, the USDC vault has a profit loss about -$8. APY has been on an uptrend, actually. So this one has been actually printing more fees, which is why my profit and loss is slightly lower. You usually see this with uncorrelated pools like that, where you pair an asset with USDC. Now, the total value locked on this pool is all mine, around $103. And the performance of this pool is actually not too bad. We're, like I said, -1.72% total. Our average APR right now is about 144%, and these are our positions. We have a virtual USDC, and we may be exiting this one a little soon. Wrapped ETH USDC, and a little bit of extra USDC. Now, I'm going to be looking. Excuse me. I'm going to be looking into putting this into another position here shortly. So I hope this has been informative, where you can take a look at my different DeFi positions. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Excuse me. Now, the next thing I wanted to take a look at is Sway and some DeFi ecosystem plays on the Sway network. This, you are looking at my Suland portfolio for the Sway network. It has around $719 million worth of deposits and $176 million worth of borrows. So total value locked on this protocol is about $543. The equity is 1,259. That's because I have around 2,300 or 2,400 of deposits, 1,133 borrows. And you can see here that I have deposited a ton of Sway here, and I am borrowing mostly USDC. I sold out of my SOL when it dipped into the 140s. I thought it was a good time to kind of deleverage some of this account. And then other than that, what I do is I take my borrows and I've either looped it back into this position, adding more Sway into my bag, or I've also established a liquidity position on a protocol, a DEX protocol on the Sway network. Now, this protocol, I'm going to access it from my Sway wallet. This is the Slush wallet. And the Slush wallet shows your portfolio all right there, which is awesome because it'll show your DeFi positions too. As you can see here, I have a Bluefin position. I've exited out of my Alpha 5 positions. Please watch my previous Alpha 5 videos where I go over those positions. Now, people have been weary about Sway because of the Cetus hack. I know that. I was too. I had a position that was in limbo over the last few weeks because mine was one of the ones that got drained. Of course, they voted on it. The validators returned most of the funds. I got mine back. Now, I don't know if that shows much decentralization, but at least they were able to stop the bad actors. I don't want to get into that discussion today because what I really want to look at is Bluefin. Right? So we're going to go here, which is kind of the app function of the Slush wallet. And we're going to bring up Bluefin. There it is. And so this is a spot and derivative change. You can trade perpetuals. You can trade spot on Bluefin. And what I'm going to do is go to pool function. Now you can lend on here with their perps, and you can also get into their concentrated pools. Before I settle my position, we're going to take a look at the Bluefin vaults. The vault is... Blue Vault is sitting at 6.72%, the USD at 12%, let's say. So this could actually 12% APR on your stables is not bad. And I may look into that, although I do not have that kind of position. Now, if I go into the pool function, we can go into their concentrated liquidity positions. And these are the ones that are being traded on their DEX. Now, if we go here and you can see they have pools like the Sway USDC pool 0.2%. It's earning around 131.98 with 100% of that coming from fees, the other 35 coming from rewards from Bluefin. You have this Walrus USDC, this Walrus Sway, which I'm totally going to be adding into this, or the Deep Sway pool during this market dip. I've been considering that. And then I wanted to share my one position on my Bluefin portfolio, which is this Sway Bitcoin position, which showed so much resilience over the last little bit. Now, this position is out of range and has been out of range for quite a while. So I was going to show you how easy it is to remove your positions and rebalance your positions, right? So we're going to remove our liquidity position. This puts all of it into sway. And I love this because it allows me to like dollar cost average into sway as the position rides my range down. I already did this. And what's interesting is I'm going to go back into my pools. We're going to go into the same position, which was honestly doing great for us, because I like both Bitcoin and Sway. So these are both assets I don't mind accumulating, right? Now, looking at this chart, and this is very, very simple rebalancing here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to snuggle in because I don't want to swap a lot of my Sway out at this time. We're going to go to the bottom of our dip, which is right around probably, what, 2% maybe? Okay. And we're going to leave it. Actually, we'll go to the lower part of that, right? Which is about 2.2%. And on the upper range, this resistance right here, I think would be a great kind of narrow range that we could run, which is approximately, what's that, a 7% range of sway. And I'm going to need to swap out a little of my sway. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the swap function on Bluefin, and then you can do this yourself. You can also use Alphafy, and it'll just do all this for you, but you should always learn how to use the DEXs and provide liquidity yourself, and then you can start looking into aggregators. Now, aggregators are going to add another risk because that's another smart contract layer that you're adding in to your liquidity position. So we're going to take this sway and we are going to swap it for some wrap Bitcoin. Do probably 50. It's gonna be way too much. 30. 5. It's close enough for now. The rest of it will probably deposit back into sway led. That's just more sway I'm adding to my bag. All right. This has been an absolutely long stream today, so anyone who's with me now, thank you. Please consider liking and subscribing to Dad's DeFi Space. If you like content like this, I really just want to show my skill set and give out my knowledge for free to help anyone else's crypto and DeFi investing journey. So again, check out dadsdefispace.org. And yeah, thanks. I appreciate you, all of you. All right, so I don't think I want to swap anymore yet. So now that we performed the swap, we're going to go back to the pools and we're going to deposit a little bit of liquidity into this sway wrap Bitcoin pool, which I've been loving. So again, I want to take a look at about 2.5, 2.3, and just under 5%. That is absolutely perfect. So we're looking at 7.23 range, and we're going to deposit. It's too much. We'll just do it this way. This will work. And we're going to add $242 of liquidity in. And then we click add liquidity here, check the transaction. Then all you have to do is approve. Have mine to set up. Always wants that dang password. It's about time for a new keyboard and mouse with this setup. There we go. All right, and then now it's deposited. Now we went super narrow on this range. I'm probably not going to keep this in here forever. So the rest of the sway is going to be deposited back into my sway lend portfolio. And then I have my liquidity pool to add some fees that I can add back into my lending position. I'm always trying to accumulate, and that's how we should be playing this game. So let's go into our deposited assets. We've deposited sway. You can see me that I just clicked on my sway lend portfolio. I'm going to load up 77.5 sway, which is almost $200 worth. We'll do 75, right? And deposit. The best part of this is then I can withdraw and borrow off this. I'm not going to today, and then I can buy some Walrus token, which is another one I'm bullish on this sway blockchain, or I can provide more liquidity into that Bitcoin sway pool, or I can just buy more sway when the price drops and reloop my position into my lending position if I'm bullish on sway. And obviously we know we're entering the last phase of the pool, and very shortly we're going to have to start talking about what do we do with our positions like this in a bear market, right? It's hard to say. So we have looked at a lot of things today. Okay. And hold on, let me make this swap real quick, and then we're going to get right out of here. No, I hope to have a stream later in the week. After I've revised my positions, we can look at portfolio allocations, DeFi positions, lending positions, and just overall portfolio management. I think it will be an excellent stream. Might even consider showing me organizing it on the stream. I don't know yet, but we're gonna have videos coming out on altcoin season and all kinds of other things in the near future. And I personally would like to thank each and every one of you for taking some time out of your busy schedules and busy days to learn a little bit more about crypto and DeFi, of course, right? We didn't take a look at all the altcoins that I wanted to look at today, but that's okay. I have an article coming out soon on Ondo Finance. I have another article coming out on some other altcoin plays and DeFi liquidity positions. So be looking out for those on dadsdefispace.org. I'm going to be taking a look at that long I took out on weeks. So if you're interested in hedging or trading non-KYC perpetuals, check out WRECKS. Use our link below, help support Dad's DeFi Space. And again, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do appreciate those who are willing to learn, experiment, because that's probably some of the best things you can do to learn DeFi. Just take $5, $10, $20, throw it into Aerodrome, throw it into Orca, through that blockchain, whatever it may be, and experiment. Find those DeFi positions that earn yield for you and help you on your journey to financial freedom. Don't be scared of all the conflict in the world. Bitcoin was made to be resilient. Bitcoin was made to help us hedge against the uncertain. Don't sell your black bags to BlackRock. So again, thank you for joining the stream. I love all my dads out there. Peace, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time.